live, huh? Is it going?
And we're on in 5, 4, 3. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the 12th episode of The Hollywood Hustle. I am your co-host, Tom Bates.
And we're at my crib, Jay Sherm.
Also known as Jordan Sherman, legally.
Yeah. Legally.
Yes. How are you doing today, Jordan?
Fantastic, man. So much happening. Just so much to be grateful for. So much to be excited about. Just living the dream, man.
I'll tell you what I'm excited about. This podcast. We had to miss last week because my dad came into town from Florida.
Florida?
Yeah, it was cool, man. I like when parents come to town. We did all kinds of cool shit. You do all kinds of shit that you don't have time to do when you're here. And you can get away with doing touristy stuff because I'm still new here. I like to see some touristy shit.
Yeah, anytime visitors come, it really does just make it so you can do, all that shit that you never have time to do, and it would be hard to justify spending time doing it unless you're showing somebody who's never done it before.
Exactly. Like Griffith Park Observatory, which if you come to LA and you're a tourist, I highly recommend that. The view is fucking beautiful.
It's the best view you've ever seen.
It is the best view I've ever seen.
It is pretty dope.
Yeah.
So I think today we're going to change the programming up a little bit, and I want to introduce a segment called Storytime, because being in the entertainment biz, there are some interesting stories, and we tell stories on the show all the time, but I wanted to kind of frame it as like it's stories on the job, right? So for me, it's like at gigs and all the weird happenings and people and all the gross, like, I don't want to give too much away before I tell my story, and then in film, there's like all kinds of weirdness, and you've done the gigging game too for a long time. So between the two of us, I'm sure we have a shit ton of stories that are just would be entertaining for the listeners. So.
Exactly, and this is an entertainment program.
It is
for adults and children that don't mind hearing the word "fuck" every now and then.
Yeah, and some innuendos here and there.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, so why don't you go ahead and start us off? What's your story?
Oh God, so. There's a lot, but I figured for the first time doing this segment, I should come out the gates pretty hot. And this story is back when I lived in D.C. I was playing this gig in Arlington, Virginia, at a place called Sobe. And it's a party spot, tequila shots, like everybody's partying. I'm partaking as well. It's easy. I got tons of friends with me, and I'm playing with my buddy Clayton, who's on drums, like an acoustic duo thing. And this guy, he's got these he's clearly like Hispanic, but he's wearing like bright green or blue contacts, and he's staring at me. And then he starts putting money in my jar, and I'm like, whatever, cool. Like I'm used to creeps, right? But this guy comes, and then I'm playing, and I'm like pretty drunk, and I'm like just vibing, and there's tons of people, right? He comes and he puts a 20 in my pants.
Oh God. This is moving very quickly.
And and I'm just like, I try to just not really acknowledge it. I'm like, he's giving me money, and especially back then, like, it was rare to get 20s in Arlington. Like, that's not their style. Here I expect 20s, all right? But yeah,
they're a little bit more, as they say, deep pockets and short arms on the East Coast.
So it was
tighter than skin on a grape.
Yeah, so I'm like, whatever. Like, this guy's giving me money. I just try to like really just not look at him, right? And there's enough people around. I'm assuming it's all going to be cool, right? But then it starts to get even weirder, and he goes and he's like comes up. He's like, please play me something spicy. Ooh. And he's like trying to tell me shit in my ear, and I'm like, I'm kind of tripping out now. I'm like looking around, and my drummer sees what's going on, and we're all just. It can't really stop the show. It's like peak time. Everybody's having a really good time. And then he goes and he takes this huge wad of cash out. And then he sits like 15 feet away from me, and he holds it between his legs and stares at me and just starts wafting it like this. And then he's like, then the set ends, right? And he comes up, and then he's like, just let me suck your fucking dick. Just let me suck it. He's like, I have all this. You want money? You do this for money, right? Just let me suck your dick. And he's doing this over and over and over. I'm like, dude, no. Like, I'm good. And I'm ready to just give him back all the money that he gave to me, because that's his only leverage, is that he's been paying me all night, right? And he'd given me like 80, $100 at this point, and I'm just like, dude, no. And then this girl who was at the show came in and just like, what do you? She tries to play as my wife, and she comes in and she's just like, hi, this is my husband. What are you doing? And he's like, oh. And he's like, you eat her pussy, man? I'm like, yeah, like all the time. And then he goes, he's like, he's like, pour champagne on that pussy, send her to the fucking moon.
That's good advice.
And I'm like, all right. He's like, I'm gay, but I eat pussy too. I'm like, dude, what are you talking? He's clearly on Molly or something, dude. Like the intensity and the presence. He's not like in another world at all. He is like eye on the prize.
Yeah, seems
dude.
coked out.
Yeah, and it keeps escalating to the point where like we literally just like try to shuffle all of our equipment away and just get away from this guy. And all these girls are coming to my rescue trying to help me out, but he was getting aggressive and mean, and I'm just like, this is not my job. Like, I'm here to just play music, not deal with dudes who are begging me to let them suck my dick. It was very, very odd. And then it takes another weird turn. So that ends, and I'm telling everybody the story. I used to tell it better. It's been years since I've actually told this story. But I'm playing a gig the following week in a similar area, like down the street. Homeboy walks in. And he comes in, he puts a 20 in my jar. I'm on a stage this time, thankfully, so he can't like come up. Puts a 20 in my jar, and he does the same thing. He goes, bring me something spicy. And I'm literally freaking out. I know everybody who works at this place, and I'm like, yo, this guy's got to go. And they're like, all right. They kick him out. And of course, he's waiting on the fucking corner. So I get bouncers to help me get my stuff just so I can pull up really quick. I'm like, all right, watch everything. I'm going to pull my car up, and we're just going to put my shit in the car, and we're going to go. And then I got away, and thankfully I never saw him again. But it was like one of those fears that I'm going to see him everywhere I go. And I was actually filling in on that gig. So it wasn't like he knew that I was going to be there. It was a complete coincidence. It wasn't him stalking me, because there's no way he would have known. But it was that scary, though. And yeah, that's the moral of the story. You play guitar and sing songs, you'll get a lot of love that you like, and you'll get a lot of love that you don't like.
Oh yeah, I've been there. From gigging in South Florida.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. But I'm not going to be able to resist every time I go to your shows to yell out, "Play something spicy." I like the picante guitarra.
Yeah.
Well,
pour
that's
champagne on that pussy, send her to the fucking moon.
God, this guy just got so many quotes.
Yeah.
And I kind of like him, actually.
I know, he's very likable. The problem, this is something that happens to me over time, though. Like, I wish I could remember the story better. Like, there's definitely some elements of repression going on there, where, like, there's more to it that I just, like, have squashed,
Right.
But I have told it enough times that I kind of remember. But the actual memory of the night is pretty hazy at this point. Like, like it's memories of memories and memories of me telling the story. So if you're wondering how accurate it is, I mean, it might not be the most accurate story. But I remember those two quotes, 100% happened. And the money and the flopping of the bills.
Yeah. Like stroking the...
Yeah, I'm like,
yeah.
What the fuck, man? That was intense, and it made me rethink my career. That I should maybe never leave the house, but it happened. So that's my story for this week.
Well, now you have a backup plan, because if this doesn't work out, you could be an exotic male dancer somewhere in the DC metropolitan area. So I really think
I'd have one client.
Yeah, I think that's a plus. Sometimes that's all it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. A lot of attorneys operate with just one client. They do fine.
Yeah.
So I don't see much of a difference in between what you would be doing and what an attorney would do for a private client. I just don't see any.
Yeah, same exact situation.
Yeah, well, that's great. And I'm going to be honest. In the days of social media and everyone being online and you having a pretty large online presence, he's watching you right now. I know you are.
Hey, man, get off my live feed, bro. Come on, bro.
And yeah, any of your great quotes are welcome. You can just throw them down in the comments section. We'll read them out.
Yep.
Thank you. Cool. Well, that's a good story.
Yeah.
And again, the reason why we're doing this to open up the program is because we got some pretty fucking good, interesting stories.
Yeah, it's endless. So, but I had to come out the gate with a classic, an oldie but goodie. you know?
Yeah. I'll do the same. So this is from my former playing days in Fort Lauderdale. And so I was in a duo called Two Kings. It was myself and my former roommate and good buddy of mine, Max Aceta, who is now the guitarist in a band called the Tasty Vibrations.
Ooh.
They're very good. And
Tasty, spicy.
yeah. And so we had a residency at a venue called Anthony's Runway 84. And we were blessed with that. That was the first gig we got. And Anthony's an awesome guy. It was sort of like a mentor to us. And, you know, it was our first regular paycheck playing music. And so that place, for those of you that have been there, you'll know what I'm talking about. For those of you that have not, if you've seen Goodfellas, it is the Copacabana. That place has not changed at all in terms of decor, clientele, anything since probably the disco era, since the 80s. Which I find charming because I'm going through a huge disco phase right now, as you can tell by the song of the week I sent you. So anyway, so this is just one random night, and we are playing there at a Thursday event called Meatballs and Martinis, which is like there's free food and like severely discounted drinks. And so you get all kinds of people that come in for that. So we're playing, and there's a lot of, I'll say to this to preface the story, there's a lot of New Yorkers there, and they keep that New York personality with them even when they head down south. And so we're playing, and there's this lady, sexy lady, like in her, you know, late 30s, looks great, dressed to the nines. She's watching us. Then she comes over in between songs, and in a thick Russian accent, she's like, "I love what you're playing. Can I see your menu of songs?" And it took me a second to decipher. I'm like, what? And she's like, "Your menu of songs. I would like to see what I can have for a request." I'm like, okay. So I'm like, "Oh, you mean our set list?" And as I say that, a lady on the table next to us, she's smoking a fucking cigar. Okay, like drags this, blows it in this lady's face and goes, "Hey, honey, your accent fucking sucks." And Max and I look at each other like, what? Oh my God. So this Russian lady is not having it. And she's like, "Well, fuck you." And so she goes and gets her boyfriend. The boyfriend comes out, and the guys start going at it, exchanging words. But Max and I are like, the show must go on. So we start our next song, and we're in between this shouting match, okay? And so you got Russian lady, Russian dude over here, Italian American lady, and her boyfriend, I assume, over here. And they're yelling at each other like, "Fuck you. No, fuck you, honey." And so finally, the guys have enough. The guy jumps out and throws like a flying punch across our set, okay? Middle of the song. Knocks over everything, bumps into me, knocks Max guitar over that was on a stand, and it was like his baby. It was this white Les Paul, and it broke the neck on the guitar. Knocked everything over. These guys start going at it. Huge scuffle ensues. It moves out in the parking lot, and that's pretty much the end of it. But this all started because some random lady just goes, "Hey, honey, your accent fucking sucks."
I blame you for not understanding what she meant by the menu of your songs. Can
Yeah,
I see your song menu?
it was probably my fault. maybe I instigated that a little bit out of boredom.
Dude, that's pretty intense. And I know exactly how Max feels in that situation. I've done the same thing to a Les Paul, where if it hits the ground, it's not bolted on like a Telly or a Strat, and that shit will crack. And that is an expensive fix. It's annoying as hell.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think that was it as far as any real like dangerous
Damage, yeah.
nonsense was concerned at that place. Again, like that's nothing to do with the venue. It's just some two crazy ladies going at it, and then the guys get involved and everything, and then they're all like, you know, blackout on $5 martinis.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Dude, that's crazy. And it while we're on story time, I'm going to do the shortest little story ever, but I was at Masters Malibu, and you made me think of this with your Russian accent. And towards the end of my set, this huge Russian dude, bald, comes up. And he's like, "Can you play Love Is in the Air?" And I'm like, I don't know. And I really didn't know what he was talking about. So I do my normal, like, confusion, like, oh, maybe I can, try to be nice about it. And then he goes and sits back down, like 3 or 4 songs goes by. He stands up from his table and just gives me the stare. And he's like, "Love is in the air." And to the point where I was starting to get kind of nervous, and I ended up just putting it on YouTube, like the actual recording, and I just like played piano to it and like pretended to sing. And then, because he also put money in my jar too, and he was like adamant about this song.
Yeah.
So I just like, again, finished my set, threw my money in my bag, and just ran away. Like, got out of there, because he's just, "Love is in the..." How can you want a song about love and be so mad at the same time?
Well, I was just gonna say, so from playing out and gigging so much, the Russians, like these like big burly Russian men, like the most whimsical, happy-go-lucky love songs, like "Play What the Wonderful World,"
Yeah, but
and they
it's
give
so
you like this
mad.
this death stare that probably dozens of people have seen right before they got a bullet in the head or something. It's like, "I see trees of green, skies of blue." Yeah.
Anyways, but yeah, that's an intense story. But that is pretty funny with the turf war right in front of you.
Oh yeah, and that's what it was. Like
Yeah.
they did not want the Russians there. This is like an Italian stronghold.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your accent fucking sucks.
Yeah, that's exactly what she said, and Max and I just died laughing. And it's like, you know what? To some small, minimal, microscopic degree, I respect that. In a weird way, I'm just like, you know what? At least she says what's on her mind. God bless her. Gloria.
Just tweet about it later. Just be like, "I was at my favorite joint, and this Russian came in and asked to see the song menu, and I told her that her accent fucking sucked
Oh, man.
as I blew cigar smoke into the place." Dude, that is the best part about being here is, thankfully, I don't have to play in smoky venues. Like, that makes the night go by a lot more difficult. Like, in terms of just vocal health and being able to do it every night. I don't know about you, but you smoke from time to time, right?
I mean, I'm definitely not a smoker. Definitely, if my health insurance agent is listening to this, absolutely not. I've never smoked a cigarette in my life. But maybe I'll have a couple drinks. Maybe I'll smoke a cigarette.
I'm a little draggy. I've never smoked a cigarette. I've had like 2 or 3 puffs maybe in my whole life.
I don't understand people that smoke all the time. There's a very specific time and place. Like last night when I went to the Valley to watch Kyle's band play at Skinny's Lounge, I was stressed, I was tired, just drank a cocaine-esque amount of espresso to wake myself up. So I smoked a cigarette. Yes. I was a little bit edgy. So I did it.
Yep. True dat. But
yeah.
Dude, what else is going on these days? I mean,
I don't know. Let's see what people are saying in the comments, huh?
Take a look, Ski.
Ryan Arnold.
Oh, Arnold.
Nice. Oh shit, my hands are from the fucking thing. How do you scroll this?
Like that. There you go.
There we go.
What else is happening up there?
Jay Sher, Mr. Bates. Definitely got to give a shout out to Ryan Arnold. What's up, dude?
Arnold. Yeah, we're trying to see if we can confirm a date at the Briny when we have our PBHS 10-year reunion is in August.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
But
Yeah.
so they're planning an event in Boca because there's like a connection with the space. Like they have a space lined up, and Mr. Bates knows what's good.
Yeah,
But,
come on.
So there's going to be like 2 separate events, but one before and one after. And the after will be at Bratney, and the plan is to jam down there. But we're just trying to work it out logistically and get the band hired and all that shit. So
Yeah. For that one show, can you guys do a one-off as the Pompano Predators?
the Preds.
Yeah.
Oh my lord! And we all wear shirts sponsored by Arnold Chiropractic.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right. Get a Gary Groban showing up. That umpire Eric, who always squeezed me on the strike zone. Some bullshit.
The umps were always very lenient with me because that was my whole game as a pitcher was throw it just outside and they would call it. Like that was the whole thing. The harder you threw, the more they made you. They'd tighten it on you. But if you were like your whole game was like just kind of toying with people, they gave you the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, you were more of a Greg Maddux. I was more of a Roger Clemens
Yep.
in this steroid prime. That's just how I live my life. And I learned at a very young age that I have issues with authority figures, right? I mean, I used to get thrown out of things.
Yeah.
I remember just quick aside, I used to play the Upward Basketball League, which they would have this thing. Do you know what that is? It was at First Baptist Church in Pompano.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like a Christian-based thing. It was supposed to.
I know a few people that.
Yeah, like, breed sportsmanship and gentlemanly characteristics in these young kids to turn them into productive young men. And I resented every bit of that. I was a cold-blooded competitor who didn't give a fuck about anything except winning in my own personal stats. So they would have these things at practice once a week. They would award you for certain things you did in the game over the weekend. There was the Red Star, which was best defense, the White Star, or the Blue Star, which was best offense, the Yellow Star, which was like most assists, and then the White Star, which was the most desirable one, which was most Christ-like.
Oh, wow.
I never got the White Star. I got the Blue Star, baby. I was putting up points going to the rack. God, man. I would run that floor.
That's hilarious. Yeah, I was more the most coachable kid in the world. Like, Sherm, you need to put your glove a little bit lower, and then also, would you mind running laps? I'm like, yes, let's do it. Whatever you say, coach. And I got that compliment many a time. Was like, either you're great to coach or you're going to be a great coach one day. Those were my compliments as a ball player. Like, that's when I knew I needed to quit and pursue something different.
Yeah, I mean, eventually we all stopped playing baseball, except like the 50 people I knew from South Florida that are currently playing in the major leagues. It's crazy, man.
Breeding ground, man, down there.
Oh my God, dude. I used to hit once a week with this guy, JD Martinez, who's the starting left fielder of the Boston Red Sox. He's like
Crazy.
a superstar.
Damn.
It's crazy, man. He's fucking good, too. Nice guy, by the way.
We know he watches.
Yeah, he watches, definitely.
He's got a lot of
He's
spare time right now, especially with the season only starting. I mean,
yeah, in the middle of a Yankees Red Sox series, I'm sure he's just winding down with a glass of fresh squeezed orange juice in the morning, watching the Hollywood Hustle because he probably cares about what's going on here.
yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, but yeah, baseball season is in full swing. We have our LA Dodgers who are off to a rough start, unfortunately, after a heartbreaking World Series loss last year to the Houston Astros. Houston Astros. But that's okay. They'll bounce back. Yeah, I like their manager, Dave Roberts. He gave me his batting gloves once when I was a kid.
Wow.
Yeah, that's all it takes with me, too. You just get, you give me something, I'll like you forever.
I got to give you a little takeaway from the studio, like a pick. I know you use these. The yellow Dunlop Tortex.
Do you need money?
You can have that.
I'm asking, do you need a loan? Is that why you're giving me this?
Maybe in the future, but for now, just have that and just think of it as a little favor for now.
Okay.
And then I might hit you up for a couple grand because of some coke debts, but just worry about your gift for now.
That's perfect because I'm trying to get into the loan sharking business. So if anyone needs some money, just DM me. I do a nice handsome rate of 35%. So yeah, I'll help you finance whatever project I never ask. I just want my money back.
Yeah, and in good time.
Yes,
times.
good times. And so anyway, moving on, you have a big show coming up, yeah?
Tomorrow night at the Satellite.
Tomorrow night at the Satellite.
Yep.
In
Silver Lake.
Silver Lake.
Oh yeah, baby.
Hipster Central.
And we're headlining at 11:30 p.m.
Wow. How long's your set?
40 minutes.
40 minutes.
Yep.
Nice. Yeah, that's a pretty high-end venue. They don't let any schmuck go in and play there.
Allegedly. I've seen some schmucks when I've been there, but yeah, they do take pride in what they have coming through, but everybody's tastes differ. Sometimes I don't really understand the hip scene tastes.
Yeah, because it sucks. Dude, a lot of this is objective. A lot of hipster shit sucks because they can't play their instruments.
Yeah, it's just like, it's more about the scene. It's more about the look. It's more about, do you have enough reverb on your guitar? You know, like just stuff to set that atmosphere for other hipsters to come and drink craft beer and, you know, that whole deal.
Yeah,
but,
talk about the next stupid tattoo they're going to get of a cartoon character on their throat.
You know, that's a real thing because they create gangs out of that. The Mickey Mouse gang. You have to get a Mickey Mouse tat on the neck to join, and once you do, you have brothers for life. Brothers. Brethren of Mickey Mouse.
Yeah. And if you ever have to go to prison for walking out on your bar tab for those 3 PBRs,
Yeah.
you'll be all right.
Oh, man. But, yeah, so we're stoked about that, and then we got some Florida dates coming up, which actually for any listeners in Florida, we're going to be there on Memorial Day weekend. We're playing this spot, Chit Chats,
Where's that?
in Pampano. Yeah, it's our neighbors actually own the joint, and it's like a biker bar, but we're gonna not rent it out, but they're giving us the stage, and we can pretty much do whatever we want with it for that Sunday before Memorial Day because we're playing a wedding the next day.
Huh.
Yeah.
I got a little funny, since we're on story time.
Yeah,
I was going
do
to
it.
save this for another episode, but you said biker bar in South Florida, so it
Yeah,
jogged
do
my
it, do it,
memory.
do it.
So one of the first gigs that I ever played was at this shithole dive bar. I mean, the diviest dive bar I've ever been to, I think, in my entire life in South Florida. It's on Cypress, just west of Dixie, and I forget what it's called. It's going to come to me after I tell the story, but it's really, really shitty, and everyone knows what it is. It's a shithole. So I was like, I don't know, my early 20s, and my friend's band was playing. They're like, well, you know, we need another guitar player. Do you want to come up and play some leads? They're a blues band called TJ and the Burglars.
Ooh.
Yeah. So I was like, sure. And so I go there not knowing what to expect, and I walk in, and it was like biker night. It was like Hell's Angels, you know, it's Big John's birthday party or some shit, and they're all there getting wasted. So whatever, I walk in, and I was dressed pretty much like Keith Richards, like just very over the top, rock and roll, flamboyant. And so turned a couple heads when I walked in. And so I got my guitar, and this biker walks up to me, this big mountain of a man. He's like, "You playing tonight, boy?" I'm like, "Fuck, yeah." He goes, "Well, this is our bar, and it better not fucking suck." I'm like, okay, as if I needed any more pressure. I was like downing dollar beers because I was nervous. It was like my first gig. And I was like, yeah, fuck, better do good. So sure enough, we go up, we play, and I just let loose. And it was great, and everyone loved it. And so I walk off the stage, and this guy walks back up to me. He's like, "That was fucking excellent. My name's Brian." I'm like, "Hi, Brian." He's like, "Come sit with us."
Oh, God.
So I'm like, and I wasn't like lifting or anything, and I was like, 140 pounds and just like this little fucking thing.
Boy.
Yeah, exactly. And so I sit down in his booth with him, a couple of his buddies, and some of their chicks. And he's like, "Where'd you learn to play guitar like that?" I'm like, "I don't know, I just play all the time." He's like, "You got a woman?" I'm like, no. He's like, "I'll let you have mine." He offered me his woman.
Yep.
And then I'll leave this up to the imagination of the audience, but we may or may not have gone to the bathroom to do some illicit drugs afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's pretty common in the world of the swinger world.
Yeah, exactly. No, it was that was a wake up call for me. Fuck, what's the name of that bar too?
Biking swingers. If they're not doing blow, I don't know who does.
Yeah. It's I should have known, but it was nice. You know, my naivete, I guess, made the situation
Well, that's
more
what makes the
interesting.
story. Yeah, exactly. Like, I don't know how many. I'm so much better at shutting down things now that like stories aren't as quite as exciting as they used to be.
Yeah.
Because I can see it from a mile away. When before I was just like, yeah, all bright-eyed and just excited to do anything music related and talk to anybody who liked what I did,
Yeah.
including people who were like, "Hey, boy, can you tell me more about your guitar, boy? I like the way you move your hands up and down the neck."
Wanna ride my Harley?
Yeah, it's got a nice to it if you like that kind of thing.
In a parallel universe, I'm sitting in this little sidecar right now, like cramped up as we're driving down Route 66, stroking my head, and I look up. Yeah.
Yep, that was the day you became somebody's boy.
God. Oh, man. I guess I knew if I went to prison, everything kind of would be all right. I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. If that's the reason you make all your decisions in life is like, well, if I go to prison, I need that guy on my side. I mean,
do you buy health insurance or automobile insurance? I mean, same concept.
yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Anyhow.
Let me see what the people are saying. And
Yeah, go check the chatty chat. Oh, man. Nah, this is a killer podcast, so just a quick shout out to all you guys that are watching and everything. So we started this a couple months ago, and we really, really, really like doing it, so we're glad you guys like it too. If you don't like it, fuck you. But if you do, we really appreciate it. And, thanks for putting up with all the nonsense from both of us, but try to keep it entertaining and, of course, sexy for all of you. What do we got?
real quick, Scott was like, he said, "Go Heat." So there we go.
Oh, yeah.
Go Heat. 6 seed, baby.
6 seed? Oh, they
Yeah.
made the playoffs.
Oh yeah.
Nice.
And then Arnold was like, straight out of Pompton. He's like, "What up, boys? Straight out of Pompton." You know, we that's how we roll. And also, Danny said, "What up to you?" Said, "What up, homies?"
Danny Gutner?
Yep.
That's what's up. What's up, Dan Gutner?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Basketball. So I'm seeing billboards around LA now trying to get LeBron to come to LA. Have you seen those?
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Well, what's interesting is they actually have the salary cap space for him.
Do they?
Yeah.
I could see it happening.
Yeah. I mean, Cleveland is. I don't think there's no way he's happy there. It's been a tumultuous season for them, and he still willed them to be like number 3. And
He's such an incredibly dominating
4, yeah.
athlete.
Oh,
you
dude.
could put him on the worst team in the league and they'll make the playoffs.
Yep.
Yeah. Unbelievable. He's everything he was hyped up to be when he was in high school.
Yep. And exceeded all of it. I mean, honestly, his athleticism and just his basketball skills are incredible, but he's not only improved in that area, but he's like the smartest player out there. He's setting people up left and right. It doesn't get any better than him. I mean, MJ maybe, but that's literally it. And Kobe, like those are the 3 that everybody's like trying to figure out who's going to end up being the best all time.
Yeah.
And everybody still says MJ because MJ's got 6 titles. And LeBron has 3, but he's been to the finals 6, 7 seasons in a row.
Yeah, and how many all-star appearances and everything.
Yeah, I mean, he's a monster, and his stats this year are like better than any other year. How does that happen? Like, he's been in the league forever.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
No, man, he's got the gift, dude. Yeah, that's super cool though. There was that good story, kind of feel good thing in LA the day before yesterday about that guy that was in the NBA D League or
Yep.
something like that for 10 years.
Yeah, Andre Ingram.
Yeah, Andre Ingram came in and he put up a couple points for the Lakers.
19 points.
19 points.
Yeah, shot great, and this dude he's somebody that everybody loves. Like, he's undersized. He has an unorthodox shot, so like to take a real chance on him and pay him NBA salary is really risky.
Yeah.
But he's like the nicest guy in the world, and everybody wants him to succeed. And they finally gave him a chance, and he kind of like delivered in that moment. where he might actually get a chance to play like in the NBA, like not as a starter, but consistently, you know?
Yeah. I mean, that's probably the best feel-good NBA story since Jeremy Lin.
Yeah.
Remember, he was putting up like 25 points a night for the Knicks, and he was couch surfing.
Yeah, Linsanity.
Yeah, Linsanity. Yeah. Is he still in the league?
Yep.
He is?
He's good,
cool.
but he's just not. I mean, Linsanity was a strike of lightning, you know?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Well, and you know, it was what it was, but the media perpetuated it too, because even people that weren't interested in basketball are interested to see this Harvard boy
Yeah.
of Chinese descent
Yep.
balling out in the NBA.
Yeah,
And
and
how often do you see that?
I think what happens too is like when you get a chance like that, people have to adjust to the way you play, and they don't know how like what you do yet. So you're kind of under the radar. They don't put their best defenders on you, etc. So you get figured out pretty quickly, though. You know, the next time you see a team, everybody knows. All right, we can't let this guy do this to us again, and that happened, and he wasn't really able to adjust and overcome that. But he still is very talented, and he's a good backup point guard.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the interesting thing about professional sports, when you think about it, is that they've got just teams of autistic statisticians that watch everything and calculate everything and find the best way to defeat you. Like any hitter in Major League Baseball, the pitcher knows statistically where to throw so that you don't hit. And that's why it's amazing if someone's, hitting bombs like Aaron Judge or, batting like 350 or something like that.
There's nothing they can do.
There's nothing they can do. It just means you're that good. Yeah.
Yeah, that's intense. Dude, I wanted to talk to you about this because this is something that I think a lot of younger people who are trying to, quote unquote, make it or do a creative endeavor for their career, they expect someone from way up here to drop down resources and help and management and all these things that are going to propel you to the next level, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, I haven't experienced that. But what I do believe, I'm sure that happens sometimes, right? But what I think is,
I can attest to that.
But what I think is more valuable for your own belief system is to come up with people of your level, and you kind of all build this thing together. Because if anybody who sticks it out long enough, you're all going to end up at this point anyway. And now they're all your peers, and you have respect among all industry leaders if you stick with it, you know?
Oh, yeah, I agree. That will give you sustainability.
Yep.
And if you essentially call it what it is, if you play good politics and people like you and you're a good person and you're respected, if you fall on hard times, which does happen, there will be people to help pick you back up.
Yep.
And that's what it's all about. And that's the thing that people don't get in entertainment and in Hollywood and LA and stuff, is that you don't want to go cutting throats and cracking skulls.
No.
Ever.
Yeah.
Ever.
And to me, it's also just that frame of mind gives you a more actionable things to do and more accountability on yourself, instead of like, well, it hasn't happened for me yet. You know, that whole like, I'm really good at my instrument and I don't know why nobody's done anything about it. Like,
yeah. Well said.
So that's it. And then what happens is, while you're on that journey, people who are at the next tiers, they take a lot more notice as well, because talent is, we talked about this before, but talent is just such a small piece of the puzzle, you know, and to be continually working and meeting people, like-minded people, and figuring out where you fit in all of it gives people more incentive to actually take a risk on you also.
Absolutely. I wholeheartedly agree with that. I mean, for me, half the reason why I decided to take my acting course is at a pretty prestigious little acting academy is because I want to meet the other people that want to do that.
Exactly.
That are going to be directors shooting films that they could be like, well, I need this incredibly strapping, sexy man for this role with long hair who wears sunglasses all the time. Oh, Tom.
Yeah.
There you go.
Exactly.
Yeah. So, that's how it happens a lot of the time, is like, I mean, So without divulging too much information, I have a mentor of sorts, and she was telling me about how many times, and she's not an actress. She's in a different realm of production. And she was telling me how many times she's just been on set, and she's got a very unique look. She looks great. And the director's just been like, oh, we need somebody for this part. So they'll put her in like principal roles with Academy Award winning actors and actresses just because she's there, she's a good person, and she's one of a kind. Yeah. Truly one of a kind. So yeah, I mean that can happen. And then it's crazy. Like at the drop of a hat, she'll get a call. It's like, oh, can you be in Malaysia for 6 weeks? Sure. When? 3 days from now?
Yeah.
And it happens like that. And, I have the theory, you'll probably agree with this, is that work leads to more work.
Oh, yeah. It's all exponential.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just, that's something that I just want to remind people is just, you always got to just keep doing the work and be surrounded by as many like-minded people and people who are also working their asses off, and the amount of opportunities that come just from that alone. And it's not going to be like the $1 million offer right away, but these are all people who are on that path also. And to have lifelong connections of people that you legitimately like, not just because of their position or their status, and to have them like you for the same thing. It's super, super valuable.
Yeah, and people understand that out here. Again, I say this often, but Hollywood gets a bad rap for thinking, they got this stigma that everyone's this backstabbing reptilian leech that's just looking to step on you to get to the next level. Like, sure, yeah, there are those people. Sure. Dude, I'm sure there are people like that in the farming community in Iowa.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. That exists everywhere. That's like a sociopath.
You trying to grow corn, boy?
Yeah.
That's my game.
Exactly. And, of course that happens here to a degree. But again, I'll say it, man. People are pretty decent out here.
Yeah.
People are pretty good. And people understand that because everyone has heard a story of someone that tried pulling that Machiavellian shit. And unless you're really good at that, and unless you have leverage, it's not going to work.
Yep.
It's not going to happen. I mean, dude, it's politics. And, and another interesting, you said, like, the thing about coming up, like, in this life, I think there is nothing better than your rise from bottom to the top. That's what gives my life meaning. That's why I get out of bed in the morning. That's why I'll go to work and make money to fund the dream. That's why I'll bust my ass at the gym. That's why I'll defer gratification in all sorts of ways. Is because I have my eye on the prize, and this is my montage sequence, baby.
Yep.
Push It to the Limit is playing all the time. Or Move On Up by Curtis Mayfield, right? Is playing it all the time in my life. And that's awesome. It gives me purpose. I love it. Everything's good, and it radiates out to other people.
Yep.
And vice versa. Hence the Hollywood Hustle podcast and why you guys probably watch.
Yep.
So one thing that I always like doing as a bit of a case study is I like to read a lot of Wikipedia on essentially biographies on successful people's lives. So I was reading George Clooney's the other day. George Clooney is on par with like Brad Pitt is like the Hollywood sex symbol of his generation. Yeah. I think Clooney might have been before Brad Pitt. It was before Brad Pitt. Anyway, negligible. So George Clooney, he could get any chick on the planet he wants. He can get any job in any movie he wants, right? He started out doing extras work. Okay?
Yep.
And then he started out minor roles. And then he landed a principal role on ER.
Yep.
And then he moved his way into movies. Dude, that was over a decade.
Yeah.
For George Clooney.
It's crazy.
You know what I'm saying? And then I was looking at Bruce Willis's and like, okay, George Clooney has got the incredibly good-looking masculine feature.
Distinguished.
Distinguished. Exactly.
Yeah.
He's like the most interesting man in the world type.
And that voice.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I like George Clooney. Whatever. Cool. And
I remember that.
Yeah. Well, he watches the program too. George, again, thanks for all your support and everything. And we'll take care of that thing next week. I know if you need a ride to the airport, I got you, like I said. Anyway, so Bruce Willis. Now he doesn't have that. Bruce Willis, in his own way, I'm sure to women has the whole sex appeal thing, but he's not objectively incredibly good looking, like someone like George Clooney.
Yeah.
So Bruce Willis was a bartender, did community theater, did extras work, actually did a recording album where he covered Under the Boardwalk, believe it or not. You got to check that
Under
out.
the boardwalk,
Out of the sun,
under the boardwalk,
we'll be having some fun.
under the boardwalk,
We'll be falling in love.
under the boardwalk,
People walking above.
under the boardwalk, boardwalk. There we go.
Yep. So Bruce Willis did all kinds of menial
Yeah.
blue collar Hollywood shit before he landed principal roles and everything like that. So that's
It's the persistence, man.
yeah. And then out here, it's like, people like, I get asked all the time, like, are you an actor? And I'm like, yes. And they're like, what have you been in? And I'm like,
Your dreams.
that's what I should say. I'm going to steal that. But I'm like, nothing significant yet. And they're like, oh, you're trying to be an actor? Like, dude, here's a little red pill on the movie industry for you. If you're a movie star and you finish up a movie, your next gig that you get, you got to audition for.
Yep.
Charlize Theron auditions for movies. Tom Cruise auditions for movies. Like, I remember watching a YouTube video of all the guys that auditioned for the role of Jim in The Office. And the guy that eventually got it,
Krasinski.
yeah, John Krasinski, he was a nobody,
Yeah.
right? But they had all these famous comedians, household names that were auditioning for this role. Like, even these people still have to audition. And, so that's just part of the job. That's the reality of it. And you can't get hung up on that about what people think about your career. Because the reality is, I've realized, like, no one's going to take me seriously as an actor until I'm pulling up in a black limo, wearing a, Versace tuxedo with friggin', two movie stars around my arms. Like, oh, then, okay, now you're a successful actor. It's
Yeah.
like, whatever, man. I don't care. I just want to be in cool shit. I don't even really care about the money. I just want to be in cool shit.
Absolutely. Dude, so a good friend of mine, we should have him on. His name is Rob Rocco. He's a dope drummer, but he's also a TV star. He's on that show Riverdale on the CW.
Riverdance?
Riverdale.
I know what you said. As a quick aside, I can Irish step dance very well. I'm kind of known for that, but keep
Oh,
going.
wow. Side gig, side hustles. Got to have side hustles. But he's just a really interesting guy. And he does those types of jobs for the money, obviously, and for like he's got a huge fan base now too. But he's rather he's going to Europe to film some indie just because like he really cares about the art a lot. And that gives you credibility too. Like if you just take every single job only for money or only for status or whatever, that could hurt you in the long run. He's playing the long game, and he already is experiencing like tremendous success, but he doesn't give a shit about it. He's like, all he wants to do is just be in great stuff. He's probably going to play drums with us in our show in May too.
Nice. Yeah, we should definitely have him on the show.
Yeah, he's super cool dude. Just very, very, really like nice. We go back from our Windsor days in Canada.
Oh, cool.
Canadian guy.
Nice. Yeah. I mean, that's what it's all about. It really is, not to sound sanctimonious, man. It's about the art. It's about creating cool stuff. Because money comes and goes, and I like buying cool shit, don't get me wrong, and I'm sure I wouldn't be frowning when I'm driving down the PCH in a drop-top Aston Martin. Sure, yeah, who doesn't want that? But that's not what life is all about. It's about working with really cool people.
Yep.
And that's why I like being on set. And most of my friends out here I have met on some kind of project.
Yeah, all my friends are musicians.
Yeah.
But it goes back to what you were saying about the whole climb aspect of it. The come up, and once you get there, then what, right? That's why you really do have to love the work more than anything, because then that'll propel you to continue. And as long as you always have things to work on and improve at, that makes it all worth it too. Instead of like trying to jump from milestone to milestone, like just keep it as internal as you possibly can and keep growing as a person, you know, in that whole process, and don't let all that shit get to you, you know?
Yeah, it's just one facet of overall self-actualization.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't want to do it. Dude, if I wanted to get rich, I'd get into banking.
Yeah.
Or I'd do corporate law and mergers and shit like that. I could have easily gone that route. But it's not all about money. And then here's a quick little red pill on acting versus business. Back to our boy George Clooney. You know, he made more money selling Casamigos tequila than he did in his entire acting career. He made more money off that one deal selling a liquor company than he did, 20, 25 years in TV and film as a perennial star. I mean, it's unbelievable. So you just got to do what you like, man.
Hell yeah.
What do we got?
Scott Sherman, in quotes, he quoted you, "Backstabbing reptilian leech." Song or band name?
I think so, Scott. That'll be our little joke side project.
Backstabbing reptilian leech.
Well, you know what we need to do? Here's what we need. We need like a sizzle reel for the show.
Yeah.
Right? And we got to make some sort of like 30-second clip for like a musical intro to the show, and that will be by the Backstabbing Reptilian Leeches.
That's, you know, this is actually a great segue to the song of the week, because the song you sent me, I thought would be so perfect for our theme song.
I know. I thought that too. By the old Fat Larry's band.
Dude, I heard it. I'm like, if this isn't an intro and outro song, I don't know what is. Like, it's
Oh my
perfect.
God.
So groovy, so fun, and it's on GTA, Vice City. Like, it's so epic. I love that track. It's just, I put it on, I'm like feeling really good, like ready to drive around and steal cars, you know?
Yeah. Dude, that radio station in GTA is incredible. They have the whole song list on YouTube from that radio station. It's just disco hit after disco hit. Yeah. I mean,
it's amazing.
Yeah, it's great. It makes you want to drive a speedboat and sell bricks of cocaine.
That game actually introduced me to Toto.
Oh yeah,
Hold the Line was on that.
yeah, and of course, Jennifer.
So many good songs.
Africa.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hilarious. And then, like, as the songs are playing, like, the DJs would come on and be like, and no, like, just with the random side comments, like, if you really don't like her, why don't you just kill her? Like, just like, what? But it's like subconscious, subliminal, like, just little quips here and there.
Yeah.
So
Oh,
funny.
man.
But, and then I sent you the latest from Alan Stone, just came out this week.
Alan Stone. So tell me a bit about this dude.
All right, so he's from just outside of Seattle, small town Washington.
Okay.
Grew up, his dad's a minister, and he grew up in the church singing, and his favorite artist is Stevie Wonder, if you couldn't tell by his voice.
Makes a lot of sense.
And he's been a successful soul artist for the last 6-7 years, and he got his big break on YouTube. He put together a really nice production of him playing in his mom's living room with his band. And it sounds phenomenal, but he does some freak shit with his voice. Like, the highest, like,
Oh yeah.
he's insanely good. And it's one of those things that if you're that good and you put out even a decent video, the world is going to know. Like, it still is his most successful video. It's like 7-8 million views.
Really?
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, man. That guy can sing. Holy
Yeah.
shit.
And I love his message. It's all about love and, you know, spreading joy and using music as his medium for that. And we need more Alan Stones in the world, man.
Yeah, the dynamics are fantastic. The groove is great in that song.
Yep.
I like that. That was a good one. Now, last quick, because we're probably running out of time.
Oh, yeah, we are.
Just about.
Damn.
What do you make of this Facebook situation? Are they spying on us? Are they doing us wrong? Or are people freaking out?
I think it's all of the above. I think the spying isn't like, I don't know how nefarious it actually is. I think it just happens with data and servers and just collection, you know, whether or not it's like, let's sell this to Russia or let's use this to see if we can not give this guy a loan. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know what it's actually doing to a user for having that information out there. You know what I mean? But it's not good. Nobody wants that, and it's definitely scaring people. And really quickly, I want to do my best Mark Zuckerberg impression.
Oh, this is gonna be great.
That's it. Sign me up. Can I join your course?
That was a riveting monologue.
Thank you. Thank you.
God, man,
He's a weird guy, man.
He's a weird guy.
But only weird guys can come up with.
He's a genius. Though.
Yeah.
He's objectively a genius.
Definitely autistic on the spectrum, right? There's no way he's not.
Yeah, but he's not. Again, like he's not made. He's not a social being.
No.
Ironically,
Yeah.
he makes it
On the
like
biggest social network.
Yeah, but
That might be an indicator of whether or not it's really good for being social or not. But
Yeah.
I think we connect with people all the time. I think it has its ups. We've talked about the downsides.
yeah, it's how
and the
you use
upsides.
it, dude. It's like a knife, right? You can use it to, I don't know, to cut some food, or you can use vegetables or something,
Yeah.
make a salad, or you can use it to stab somebody in the throat.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, social media is like a knife.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, it's I don't know. Like people are freaking out about that, and I understand the whole privacy aspect, but somebody told me, I don't know if how much truth there is to this, but I find it pretty interesting that in Facebook's terms of service, they can access the microphone on your phone.
Yep.
And so this guy was saying, he was like, well, I wanted to test it out. So I called my friend. We were having this discussion. So we started talking about getting basketball tickets.
Yep.
So as we go on Facebook after the conversation, boom,
Ads
about basketball tickets.
Yep.
And like, he's like, isn't that, I'm like, that's not nefarious. It's convenient. you know, like I get
I know,
it.
but-
I'm not going to be naive and say that it couldn't be used for bad things. Of
course.
I mean, every time I want to, you know, it reminds me to do certain things I need to do. I'm like, oh yeah, I really liked that Jared Lang shirt. I'll buy it now.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of conversations about that where one guy is literally like, that is the most evil thing in the world. And then the other guy's like, well, didn't you want to have a quick link to get to that anyway? You know? And
yeah. It's how it's done, though. It's the principle. I get it.
it's gross, but you do allow it, but you have to allow it. Like right now, I had to allow that for us to be able to do this. And it doesn't just stop when you turn off the app, you know? It's just, It's always going. But they're not the only ones. And they're getting a lot of shit right now, but it's literally every app. Your GPS app asks for access to everything. Like, there's no avoiding this. Like, it's all going in this direction, you know? So all we can really hope for is that you can't get fucking arrested for something you say in private, you know, and like that kind of thing, you know,
Some
like
Minority Report shit.
yeah, like that's where I could see it going wrong, and it's that being scary and people being like not having freedom to speak their mind, even just in the company of friends, you know, that's not cool.
Thought criminals.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, they would never come after us. I mean, we only talk about cool shit that people care about on the Hollywood Hustle.
Yep.
Yeah. But I mean, all right. Is anything going to happen? Like that's the thing about it. It's like I guess I'm so jaded on the shit is like, okay, 2 weeks from now, nothing's going to happen to Mark Zuckerberg. Nothing's going to happen to Facebook. It's all a bunch of bullshit.
Yeah.
It's to get people turning into the news so that they can roll those Cialis commercials and the State Farm commercials after, and you get more, you know, you get more sex pills and more, you know, car insurance or something. Like I'm not buying into that. Like people really think the government's gonna be like, okay, Facebook, you're shut down or something like that. Will not happen.
No, they're just taking lessons, being like, what app can we develop that we can ask to turn the microphone on? You know, like, or just team up with Marky Mark and get access to everybody's stuff. I mean, I just think there's no avoiding it, and I think the people who freak out the most are the people who don't want any of their brains exposed. You know, that whole like, maybe the freaks are like, oh no, people are going to know I'm a freak. But fortunately, I mean, hopefully people will just take it as like, no, this is me. It's not a big deal. A couple ads pop up on my thing, whatever. But it all could go bad with any of this technology stuff. I mean, all the AI stuff could go bad.
Yeah, and on the same token, people like, oh, Apple can recognize your thumbprint in your face? That's so convenient.
Yeah.
Like, that's a bigger problem.
Way worse.
Yeah. I mean, and I'm not defending Facebook. I mean, I don't even use the app. I never go on my
Well, that's
Facebook.
what I'm saying is that there's so many services and apps that do all of that. So the fact that it's coming down on just them is kind of weird. When it's just because they're so popular. They have over a billion users, you know?
Yeah.
Which is why nothing's going to happen.
Yeah, and the trajectory of Facebook, in hindsight's amazing. Because remember how it started? It was for Harvard students. It was a Hot or Not app. Yeah, it was kind of
crazy.
like Tinder, I guess you could say. Yeah, I mean that's amazing. I remember when it first came out, and I think you had to have a college email address.
Yep.
And then Facebook really lost its charm when it expanded to the point where like people's grandmothers were on Facebook and posting all this boomer shit, you know, about stuff that young people that the app was really intended for just don't care about.
Yep. But I mean, that has its place too. Now Facebook is for everybody now, and I'd be down to try to adopt a new service. But one just came out a couple weeks ago called Vero, and it looked great. I liked the layout. You could share like it encouraged you to like post about the books you're reading, what you're listening to. Like it actually looked really dope. A few too many people signed up, and their servers crashed.
Really?
And it was useless, and it came and went just like that.
Damn. Yeah. Well, I mean, while you're looking to the future, I'm what you'd call, I'm starting a little movement. I'm a MySpace revisionist.
Good luck with that.
Let's bring it back, baby. Tom and Tom, spearheading the anti-Facebook MySpace revisionist movement. I'll see you guys on MySpace. But remember how cool it was because you could design your own little
MySpace,
thing.
man. Yeah, it was great.
Man, MySpace is great. But you know what? You know what the death of MySpace really was? The top 8.
Yeah.
You'd cause infighting amongst your friends, and that was a very bloody war.
Yeah.
It was. People got hurt. Anyway,
We don't have a top 8 here, and thank you guys for watching. It's been a fun convo, story time. I like this segment. We probably won't have to do like designated story time every week, but it'll just happen on its own. But I like the concept of sharing some insider happenings for the people who aren't constantly being surrounded by freaks all day. You know?
Yeah. No, it's interesting. We'll find a way to slide it in tastefully.
Yep.
Anyway, have a good week, guys. We'll see you next week, and we should start doing is we'll put out a little status thing, Hollywood Hustle today. We'll give you like 15 minutes notice. So
Yeah,
I
I almost did it, but I didn't.
That's okay. I mean, next week. I think people the looseness and lackadaisical approach to this is endearing to people.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, just drop everything you're doing, open up your MacBook, and watch us.
No, just at the office, man. Just fire it up, put your headphones in. You don't have to watch us, just listen.
Yeah, and if your boss has a problem with it, tell him to tune in. I assure you, he'll be entertained.
Yeah, the whole office will have a much lighter mood.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, good to see you, and we'll do it again next week.
Excellent. God
Peace.
bless.